Good morning. It's me, Zach from Aunty Donna. I'm joined as always by Broden Kelly from Aunty Donna and Mark. Today we're going to be doing a watch along with Aunty Donna. We're going to be watching episode 5 of Aunty Donna's Big Ol' House of Fun only on Netflix. How do you watch along with us, I hear you ask? Well, it's easy. We're going to need you to pull up your Netflix account, go to episode 5, the nighttime episode, spooky, ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. By searching for Aunty Donna or Aunty Donna's Big Ol' House of Fun, pushing all the way back to 00.00. I'm going to count down from 6. And when I say go, not 1, but go, you are going to press play. We are going to press play. We're all going to play it in unison. You're going to dual screen and we're going to do what's known as a DVD commentary. Are you ready? If not, I don't care. I gave you more than enough time. All right, here we go. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Starts there with the classic Netflix logo.
Netflix.
That's actually the tubes. The colors represent the color from tubes on TVs.
It's sick.
The color tubes.
This is the spooky episode. Zach, tell them what the inspiration for this.
So there's a movie from the 1960s. I saw it on a rival streamer, Mubi.
Uh-oh.
Don't tell Netflix. They're not really a rival. They're more complimentary.
Yeah.
Netflix isn't really in the obscure cult and art house space.
Like CISO. CISO is like complimentary.
Yes. There's this movie called Orgy of the Dead, who you would know Ed Wood. He produced this film, I believe, or executive produced it. And the opening to that film is so funny. It's a very funny film. It's basically about a group of like ghouls and demons and various women strip for them in order to go to hell. It's very 60s. It's very go-go. It's really fucking lame. It's very bad and very wonderful. And I loved that film so much. I said we should open the nighttime episode with a word-for-word recreation of the opening of that film. And then the other guys were like, great idea. Love that. Can you write something down? And then I did a word-for-word script of the opening of that film. And then the guys were like, so good. We're going to do a rewrite. We're going to put some jokes in. And I was like, no.
I don't know.
A joy of this show is like we had lots of little tiny bits like this thing that I always wanted to do, which is dancing and then crying when they stopped. I always wanted to do, but it's not enough for a whole sketch.
Yeah, exactly.
So when you can't do something like this on YouTube, but I enjoy it a lot.
And it would make like it'd probably make more sense to just cut straight to the sketch. But that's not what we wanted the show to be. We wanted this show to be a place where we could just have singular, dumb little fucking ideas that act as bumpers almost.
Yeah.
Now, this was a lot of fun. This was, I loved shooting this sketch.
The thing I remember most about this sketch is that was real like pizza from like a takeaway pizza shop. And it smelled so fucking delicious. It smelled really so. All I wanted to do was eat that old fucking pizza so bad.
But they'd
now,
done
please
it.
Tell some more thoughtful. Please say some more interesting things.
I just want to second what
pizza
Broden said about this pizza. Yeah, no, I'm so sorry. You've got thoughtful things to say. I just want to second like how good this pizza smelled. It was like some of the best. That real oily kind of. Independent Pizza Hut is how I would describe it, or Domino's. We're Domino's family, but independent Pizza Hut. It was buttery, it was oily, and it smelled delicious. Sorry, Mark. I'm so sorry. Go.
No, it's fine because we wanted to put we wanted to put Pizza Man in this show because it's the only character I can play, and And so we've got to throw Mark a bone. But what we wanted to do was, with the character, I remember, Zach, you were pushing for this quite a lot, which I really liked. And I still have a great memory of, Zach, of you and I writing this downstairs at Stupid Old Studios.
It was a beautiful memory.
Really fun day. But Zach kept pushing for, let's go back to the origins of the character, like where the character started. And where the character started, this character is probably the oldest character or one of the oldest characters in Donna lore.
I think you'll find the characters of Sophocles are old.
Sophocles is much older. But it was in our first ever live show. And the reason I came up with it was I'd been doing non-Italian-y characters in pantomimes in places like Sovereign Hill and at little like camps.
This is Max's least favorite bit of the show right here.
I love that Max is in it. I love that the whole Donna family is in it. I love that Sam and Tom get a little part. Tom originally had a bigger part in the opening scene. We cut a bit where Weird Al talks about this is a nighttime episode. So if you're someone that works 9 to 5 in your day job, like at a postal, like if you're a postal worker, this episode is not for you. And then we cut to a postal worker who screams in terror, and it was Tom, but he flubbed it, so we cut him.
Yeah, he was
awful. He fucked it up.
No, it's because you guys put too many jokes in the opening. I tell you what, all you needed to do.
There's too many jokes. But the origins of the Pizza Man character was, what is the worst, most stock character we could possibly think of? And for me, it was, all right, let's just get 2 words and build a character around that. Pizza and man. And that's where it came from. And so we wanted to go back to that and deconstruct the character and talk about, that kind of stereotyping and shit.
You can find it in the trailer. You can find it in the trailer playlist on our YouTube. But the very first iteration of Pizza Man on film or even out in the world was where you were like, I'm not going to degenerate my culture. I'm not going to do this character.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to you doing Pizza Man. It's a very early version of the character. And I always love when characters start as satire and just become exactly what they're meant to be satirizing. They start as something quite profound and then they just become the problem. And that's what Pizza Man has become. And I love that lineage.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that's so interesting and so complex. And I just was like, I really want to start him from the start again and give that complexity. So every time you play him, there's that tinge for people knowing of how wrong it is that you're playing him.
Yeah.
Anyway, go on.
This sketch has a lineage to Cheeky Tea Break from 1999 on our YouTube channel.
We wanted
just fucked ASMR comedy.
It's really because Cheeky Tea Break started. I believe the initial germ of the idea was we wanted to do a sketch where we were whispering, and then when we shot it, we didn't whisper that much because I think we were a bit excited about the sketch. And so we kind of went back to that initial germ and went, oh, what if we just do a whispering sketch? And it made sense in the nighttime episode. But go, please, Zach.
The other thing I just want to layer with this sketch is I've always, every time we've done ADR, additional dialogue recording, and it's been that teeny bit clunky, I've always gone, I want to do a whole sketch of clunky ADR. But it's a layer. It's not like the core. You can't make it the core of a sketch.
We did this in the in ADR, like when we had to do pickups, and I wanted to try just yelling this as loud as I could. And there was a fight for this. There was a fight.
I loved it. It was never a fight in Mark Bonanno's camp.
I think I liked it. I don't know. I think there was another bit that was a bit shouty, and that had to go to make that work.
Yeah.
Because
this was never the initial intention for the sketch. We shot the sketch, we edited the sketch, and we were very happy with it. And it had
Zach and I just laughing there. Laughing.
Because that was a line that came up on the spot. I don't know how you guys did that, but we did a take where they almost said the same weird shit in sync, and then we'll like go back and get it in sync because it was so funny. But it was never the intention to make this an ADR sketch. That just at some point in post, that idea came up, and then we experimented with it, and we were really happy with it in the end.
It's like I said, it's something I think that it wasn't that I like necessarily push it. It's something I've wanted for so long. And what you realize is the only time it's really gonna happen, the only time it's really gonna work is if you make that decision in post. You have to kind of give up a sketch. You have to give up and go, doesn't matter what we did in the room, it's funnier to do it in post.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad we did it, especially that shout. It's very funny.
Thin drinks.
Thin drinks. So
This
Thin
I
Drinks
could
was...
say the origin of this.
Yeah, go, please, you go.
This came out of an afternoon silly, a real afternoon silly, where I think I had an iced coffee and then I'd peeled off an Australian iced coffee, which is like a milky drink and I'd peeled off the label and then I'd wrapped it tight and then it looked like a very thin drink. And then we did this as a bit where we were just talking about a future of thin drinks. And then I don't know at what point any of us decided it could be a full sketch, but that happened. I pushed quite hard for it. The original draft.
This is Sam Lingham, baby, this sketch, our head writer. He loves this shit. And the original script was like 400 pages long and it's a short film.
And it all makes sense.
Draft. And it had Broden in a spaceship flying over it. Broden in a spaceship flying over a Terminator. You know, whenever it cuts to the future in Terminator, flying over a world, flying over an Escape from New York style world. And it was intercutting between 3 different places. And the only layer was that there were thin drinks. There was no jokes about thin drinks. It was just, and everyone was like, might have to tone that back. And then Sam took it and
we're originally going to shoot a different sketch in that place. We'd written a different sketch called Dog Gun, which was a kind of similar aesthetic, like this future where, gangs rule and stuff, but guns are dogs. And and it was just going to be us holding cute dogs and pointing them to each other. And we're writing it. And then we came up with a punchline that we were like, oh, okay. And then at the end, someone comes in with laser cats. And then we showed it to our producer and he was like, all right, stop. He's like, you're aware of the SNL sketch Laser Cats, yeah? And we're like, what? And then we looked it up and there's a whole fucking SNL sketch about laser cats. And we're like, fuck. So we got rid of it and we went back to Thin Drinks, which we'd written and we were happy with, but ended up being removed from the show and we put it back in, which was a real shame because Dog Gun is so funny. But anyway.
So we call this sketch Here's Trouble, right?
Yeah.
And this was just at our office in Melbourne. We just went downstairs and I think the riff was just like, I think it was Here's Trouble.
Well, yeah, because, and I'll tell you just a little thing here, a big shout out to my friend Steven, who I've been friends with since I was 5. He just messaged me one day and was like, oh, you should do a sketch about when someone says, oh, here's trouble. And I was like, all right. And so I took that and pitched that to you guys.
Oh, really? I don't remember that.
So funny.
But we pretty much just impro'd this.
We did.
Like this, all the beats that are here, we just stream of conscious improv.
Yeah.
Sam played Ben, who's the Scottish man. He just did an inspector, and we me bringing drinks and then backing up a truck. It was all we just improv that all.
And I should say, every single long form improv we do for about 3 months, I would end with me killing someone.
Yeah,
particularly on this day, I would kill.
I would get guns,
bang, and then we'd all fall into a shootout. And this is the one that made it into the.
This is another little joke I've been fucking desperate to do for years and never had a place for. Just the double wake up, but it's just I love it so much.
I also just want to say, in the background, when I drag Ben in the background, you can hardly see it. That was such a fuck fest. He's on a little wheelie thing, and you can hardly see it. It was so almost not worth. There it is.
Very difficult to do.
The timing of that shot.
And that body into the bin, that was the last thing we shot of the entire series.
Weird Al Yankovic, we asked 100 people to be in the show, and lots of people said no because they don't know who we are. And Weird Al reached out to Comedy Bang Bang and said, I'd love to be in the show. And we were like, holy fucking shit.
We just didn't even think to reach out to him because he's fucking Weird Al Yankovic.
He came in, he was incredible.
Oh, he was so great. And he was he's the nicest person as well. He told me this great, I just had this great moment with him where we were just talking about music and I was telling him how much I love Mr. Bungle because I was going to go see him on tour, and he just showed me photos of him and the singer from Mr. Bungle from fucking 1991 together. I'm like, this is fucked. I'm having the best time of my life.
Who is also the lead singer. It's Mike Patton.
Yes.
Because there's probably people who know Mike Patton and don't know Mr. Bungle.
Oh, right, of course.
That's very thrilling for people.
I just saw. I just saw a question about why we wear the same clothes every episode. I thought very quickly, we kind of, the idea for the show was it was kind of like we wanted it to look like an animated show that was real life. So the idea that like there's no reason why we have such a nice house. We don't have any jobs. We kind of just exist, and that they wear the same clothes every day, and it's never really a big deal. And that's helpful, one, because I think it just simplifies the characters and it's not really important. And two, there's just so much fucking bullshit going on that if we had to add in that on this certain day they're wearing different clothes, it would have like done our heads in. It's just the safety as well to just say they're always wearing the same thing.
But I think it also helps. Like, I think it was a good choice. Really, Mary and Scott, by the way, just two of the most fucking incredible improvisers, as well as Tipper and Raker. This was so much fun to shoot this sketch because it was just like, it was working with the most elite comedians. That's how it felt. Like, everyone was so funny and so on, and it was so late at night, but we were all fucking, it was just so great. It helps really establish the characters because we are playing so many other characters. It's a great thing. We likened it to The Simpsons. You know, it was like they just have their base thing so that you can see them, you establish them. You know, that's Mark, that's Zach, that's Broden, and then when we're wearing other things, it's very clear that we're playing someone else. It's not Mark when he's not in his jumper. It's not Zach when he's not in his flannel. You know, that kind of thing.
There are times where you'll be playing a character and the only difference, I'm so distinctive looking, you know, and the only difference is maybe I've got my hair in a ponytail and I'm wearing a nice shirt, and that suddenly now I'm a different character. So if you have Zach, the character, wearing lots of different clothes every time, it makes it really hard to then convey I'm playing a new character. You almost have to treat those three characters with the same level of simplicity you would any other. It's funny how much thought went into it. I love that joke. That was Broden's joke, that third callback, I believe. I'm sorry if I'm crediting the wrong person there. But the third callback of Jan not being me, being a legitimate British actress.
That cut is one of my favorite cuts in the whole series of the wig reveal. It's so smooth and so beautifully done. Man. Max he saw it because you saw it very clearly as well. Zao, you had the movement. Well, I remember you.
Jess was like, how are you doing it? And we worked together to make sure we were like matching the physicality. So it was very much on Jess as well, how much we matched. It was a lot of thought went into that single cut, but yeah, Max cut it very well.
The SWAT song, the same person who choreographed Borat and
Crazy Ex-Girlfriend
and a bunch of other. She's won Emmys and stuff. Kat Burns is a really cool choreographer who choreographed all of this, and she was cool.
And she let me and Mark ride in her Tesla.
Oh my god, that was the best. That was such a highlight. We went to this place and we were doing rehearsals for the dancers, and then I came out and I saw she was driving a Tesla, and I was like, oh my god, that's so cool. And she's like, let's go for a little joyride. I was like, Cat.
It's like driving in an iPod.
The story of SWAT for me is my grandfather was dying. I was trying to be by his bedside as much as possible before he died, and then I took a break for 4 hours to come into work, and I wasn't in a good way. And I wrote the first draft of SWAT. And then went back to the hospital. I also, every time I hear it, I'm like.
I also want to say that like the impetus of SWAT, or the very like first germ of SWAT.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember this, bro. Was Tom played a piece of atmospheric music. And we were doing something else. He just played a piece of atmospheric music, and Broden heard it and heard a cool like beat to rap over. And I heard it, and I just watched that film. I just watched a film about SWAT people, the one where they go up the tower.
Is it called SWAT?
No, I'm having a mental blank.
Samuel L. Jackson.
No, it's a The Raid, where they go up the tower. It's an incredible action film, one of the best action films of all time. And there's a sequence where they go through and they're real tense and swatty. And I would tell Tom to do a layer to make it sound like that. And then Broden would tell Tom to do a layer to make it sound like his rap song, and literally just step by step, I would add a layer, Broden would add a layer, I would add a layer. And what ended up happening was a piece of music was created that both worked as a tense precursor to we'll keep talking. This might run a little over because I want to talk about the sun. That both worked as a tense precursor to a SWAT action scene like the film The Raid, and also worked as a fun rap song. And then off the back of that, we started rapping this SWAT song. And we ended up, because of the visuals, because of all the different things, we ended up dropping almost all of that, and it just became a fun piece of music. And then, like obviously, Bro wrote the joke, wrote the sketch. But I love that initial sort of impetus of like quite accidentally creating a piece of music that works both as a fun rap and as a Hans Zimmer-esque tense precursor to an action scene. Just a funny little the way
Natalie Palamides, we would have loved to have her more in the show, but she was off doing another cool thing. So she only had a few days, and so we cast her as the Sun. She's this incredible live performer who she's got a show on Netflix now, a special, and she's just a fucking freak talent, like a fucking freak talent.
Yeah, she's unbelievable. We saw her first. We saw a show. That's known as, I can't remember the name of the actual show, but it's known as The Egg Show.
She plays the Sun, by the way. The Sun.
Yeah, she plays the Sun. And oh man, we just all saw it in Edinburgh, and we were just like, this is a performer on another level, and she's just the way her mind works, and what she was doing was so incredible. And we got onto the show because it was directed by this other performer who we love called Dr. Brown. And because he directed it, and we were just like, God, that was like 4 years ago maybe, and we were like, one day hopefully we can work with her. And then it was really great that we got to.
That what was a very short cut was, I think, probably my most surreal memory of that entire shoot was running around the front yard of a arts and crafts style LA home with Weird Al Yankovic and a 5 foot tall clown dressed in a sunsuit, literally just bashing us up, like fully like jumping on us and dragging us to the ground. And I just remember being like, this is an odd moment in my life. Yeah. This is very funny that this is happening. But yeah, you should check out Natalie's. It's out on the 1st of December. It's called Nate. Special on Netflix. It's going to be amazing. It's one of those things, I think the clips are really, really funny, but they don't do justice to the cumulative effect of one of her live shows. Very impressive.
All right, shall we?
Anyway, thank you.
Shall we move on? Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, we should. Thanks for watching episode 5 with us. Hey, you guys, are you having fun? Are you excited to watch the final episode of Aunty Donna's Big Ol' House of Fun, only on Netflix?
Well, the final one we're going to be doing commentary for. Anyway.
Aunty Donna.
Aunty Donna's Big Ol' House of Fun. We hope you're liking season 1. If not, get fucked and leave your dog. Just joking, please keep watching. Aunty Donna's Big Ol' House of Fun. We hope you're liking season 1. If not, get fucked and leave your dog. Just joking, please keep watching.